Okay, let's talk about some rookies. I did that rookie preseason video, and now I want to do another one. There will be more rookie talk throughout the year, but I mostly want to stick to the biggest names for this vid. So let's start with Benedict Mathurin, who is making Pacer fans very excited after doing a quick scan of the Pacers internet. So I will get to the attack and the basket stuff, but to talk about the three ball, he's shooting 43% right now, very early in the season, but based on his college performance, I think that's not surprising so far. And I do like some of the things Carlisle's doing in the offense for Mathurin. Like there was a play against the Pistons where Mathurin and Halliburton were on opposite wings. Mathurin brought it up. He throws it to Halliburton on the other wing, and I think there might have been a screen in the middle of that to where the defense was off balance, and then Halliburton takes a few dribbles to the middle of the floor, kicks it to the corner, and then it's another swing to Mathurin for a three. In that same game, Mathurin, he started from the corner and he set a ghost screen for Halliburton, who was on the wing, and a ghost screen is basically you act like you're going to set a screen, but then you just keep going in that direction. He got a three ball off of that. There's been some size-up threes from Mathurin as well where he just cooks his defender, and we'll see the percentage on those long term. But look, that quote he had where he was like, LeBron's going to have to show me how good he is or whatever, Mathurin is confident as hell, man. And now let's get to the attack and the basket stuff. There was a play against the Sixers where overall he didn't have the best game. He missed some jump shots, but he got it in transition, and Embiid was under the basket, and Mathurin was just like, I don't care that Joel Embiid is right there. I'm going up with it. I'm going into his chest, and that's that. There was one transition bucket he had against the Spurs where he Euro steps with it, and he's got, I believe it was Devin Vassell and Keta Bates-Diop on either side of him, both trying to contest the shot. I have no idea how he didn't get blocked, and he just flips it right in. There was one where he had Zach Collins dropping, he had Jeremy Sohan on his back, he had Josh Primo reaching in, and he just hits this like kind of sky hook, running hook shot thing. Now part of this, of course, is how is he getting to the basket? Well, you know, his dribble moves are not super flashy, but I think he's very decisive where he's not hesitating that much, and that first step is just useful, man. I mean, he had a play, I think it was the one leading up to that running hook shot where he got a screen, and his first dribble was like so far out ahead of him that it took, I think it was Jeremy Sohan guarding him, just kind of off balance. He also almost dunked on Doug McDermott in that Spurs game. He's just ruthless going to the basket, man, Mathurin. And now for Indiana, it's a pretty exciting backcourt because Halliburton has been lighting it up in this early season as well. I'll probably end up doing a video about him at some point. Let's go on to Banchero. Here's a fun stat for you. He's fourth in the league in free throw attempts. In the Celtics game, he had one play where Noah Vonleh was switched onto him, and he, for lack of a better description, basically just beat him on a left-handed line drive dribble. It became a three-point play. There was another in that game. He screened and he got switched onto Tatum, and he basically just muscled him all the way to the basket, where he took like two dribbles, I think, towards the middle, and then he does something that you could call a bit of a drop step, and it wasn't a foul, but it's the type of thing that he can do consistently, which will lead to a lot of fouls. Speaking of screen setting against Atlanta, he screened for Jalen Suggs, and Suggs got Trey on his back. You had Collins dropping, and then Paolo basically just floated down to the basket, and DeAndre Hunter had to slide over, and I mean, he tried to get a contest, but that was a foul. One more foul drawn play for you. One against the Knicks where he had Randall in the corner. He took him baseline, and Randall's basically just in the way. And so that's either going to be a block or it's going to be a charge. And I think Paolo, he's just going to put defenders in that situation a lot. And sometimes it will be a charge, but he's going to draw a lot of fouls. There's no doubt. He already is. Besides that, like, he also did this thing, one against John Collins, one against Julius Randle, where he had the ball with his back to them, kind of around the top of the key, acting like he's going to make a pass to the corner or whatever. And then he just spins off of him real quick. One with Randall that led to a foul that was, I guess, like kind of like a reach from behind. And then one against Collins, which ended up just with him getting like a pretty easy layup out of it, honestly. Now, with all this said, I do think Paolo's been a bit jump shot happy so far, and not all of them have been the best attempts in the world. I am not super concerned about it, but I don't think I can ignore it either. Now, defensively with Paolo, so against the Celtics, he had a couple tough plays against Tatum, like one where Tatum just froze him in the corner, hitting him with a half spin. There was another where he kind of stumbled trying to contest a Tatum screen, one where he got a little too out of sorts trying to guard Brogdon on a drive where he kind of shaded him too far into one direction. Brogdon bumps him. It was an easy layup on the other side of the basket. Against Atlanta, he had some plays where like Okongwu screened for Trey. He's diving to the rim. And then Paolo tags him on the roll and then had a pretty good contest out to Collins on the wing. He did have like 3 blocks against the Hawks, one of which was when he slid over from the corner to block a Trey floater, which was pretty nice. Pretty damn positive on Banchero so far. Now let's get to Jaden Ivey. So in the preseason, his percentages were rough. So far in the regular season, they've been pretty damn good. The 3 ball has been good, and that's nice. Besides that with Ivey, this is what I would say. He's going to the basket. As far as what happens after that, all bets are off, okay? He might get blocked by Isaiah Jackson at the rim after he takes a play that was kind of going nowhere and turns it into a drive just from catching the ball in the corner. But then he might do basically the same thing a play later, and this time he finishes over Isaiah Jackson. He might have a play where he takes RJ Barrett off the dribble, takes him baseline, and then forces D Rose to help from the corner, and then throws this great acrobatic scoop pass from basically underneath the basket to the other corner for Bogdanovich for a 3. Or he might have a play against the Pacers where he tries to split a trap between Isaiah Jackson and Halliburton, with which he just had no chance and he turned the ball over. There was a great play against the Knicks with which he had 9 assists where they were dropping on him and he hit Isaiah Stewart for a lob. Like, overall, I am happy with Jaden Ivey so far, but it's also an adventure. I would also like to point out with Ivey that he is currently tied for 27th in the league in rebounds per game amongst guards. Let's talk about Jabari now. He blocked an alley-oop versus the Jazz, so that was pretty hype. He also had a play where he helped pretty hard off of Markkanen to stop a Clarkson drive. Like, he basically just stretched out his super long arms at the free throw line, and then he closes out really well to Markkanen. I also feel like he creeps in for offensive rebounds a lot, and I would not be surprised if he ended up being one of the better offensive rebounders in the league. He has gotten his screen setting on a little bit already. There was a play where he screened for Gordon, and the defense, they didn't totally commit to a trap or a drop or whatever. They were just kind of there, so he slipped that, and he ended up getting a roll to the basket. That was against the Jazz. The shooting is legit. We know that from 3. He has already had some moments doing some work off the dribble. Like, there was a play against the Bucks where he catches it in the corner and more closer to the wing, and he actually took Bobby Portis off the dribble, and he ended up making this right-handed layup over Serge Ibaka. He had a play where he took Kelly Olynyk off the dribble from the corner, and that became a left-handed dribble 2-in, then he makes like kind of like a running layup lefty thing. He also has gotten his pull-up three-point shooting on a little bit in transition if the opportunity is there. So there's already little signs of Jabari doing more than just being a finisher of plays, basically. Now, with that said, there's also been a couple times where I feel like the driving lane is there, and he hasn't taken it. To state the obvious, he's going to be a great shooter. We all know this. As far as his mid-range shooting, which was a weapon for him in college, and so far between preseason and the NBA, with which it's not been a lot of games, it hasn't been as automatic from that area, so we'll see there. I will also say that I do wish there was like a little bit more movement happening in the Rockets offense for him right now. It does seem like he does spend a lot of time spotting up, and I mean, defenders stick to him, so there's value there, but yeah. Oh, and also, he had a couple plays against the Bucks where he was operating off of a screen up top. One, he made a left-handed floater off over Ibaka versus a drop, so that was nice. The other one, he challenged Brook Lopez at the rim, and that one did not go very well for him. Now let's talk about Keegan. So, similar to Jabari, we know the 3-ball is good, and in preseason I already made note of how I think it's cool how Keegan relocates around ball handlers and stuff, even if a specific play was not called for him. Although they did set a staggered screen play for him against the Warriors that got him to a 3-ball at the top of the key. But he had a couple pull-ups against the Warriors, one where it was a pump fake, a couple dribbles in, got to a floater, another where he got a screen from Sabonis, and he just took the pull-up that Kevon Looney was giving him, basically, and that went in.